All right, so this is the demo on how to put together our 2 and 4 player flat pack console kits. Basically, it's pretty straightforward. The whole process probably takes you 15, maybe 20 minutes if you don't really know what you're doing. Everything just fits together smoothly. There may be a few things that might differentiate from kit to kit. Sometimes the angle brackets that we get are different than the holes that are drilled in for pre-hole. If that's the case, you can just drill your screw right into the wood with or without the hole. We just put it there for reference more than it is anything else, but it does make it quicker and easier for you. So I just want to go over this. What you're looking at right now is all the parts that are included in your kit, except for your console top, which is one over here. As you can see, the tools and stuff that are over here. What you are given is this when it comes with it. So you should get 20 of the angle brackets, 40 of the black wafer screws, a little squeeze bottle of wood glue, and you'll get 2 Euro hinges to add to your control panel. And there will be, I believe, 8 screws for those Euro hinges as well. That's not seen here, but you will see in the second part of the video. The only tools you really need is your finger and a drill or a handheld screwdriver. That's pretty much about it. So yeah, after this, we're going to get started. All right, so we are going to go over how to build our Fiend 2-player and our Wraith 4-player kits. Now, they go together exactly the same. They're just different sizes. So if you're looking at this and saying mine doesn't look the same, then that's pretty much the reason why. But they go together exactly the same. So you can see right here, we're just putting glue on all the pieces as they're laid out before we actually put them together. So in the little dado groove on your side profiles of the box there, you put those in first. You can smooth it out with your finger or leave it as such. It doesn't really matter. And then he's grabbed the back piece with the bottom that's shaved off, has glue on there where the wood is going to touch each other, as you can see. That wood, when it touches each other there, that's bare, obviously, so that we can get the proper coverage there, and it'll stick properly. Now, as you can see, we're going by pretty fast. This doesn't take very long. You don't want to take too long on doing this either. The glue will take about an hour or so to dry, but you want to get it as well, it's as wet as possible. So basically the format that we use to put this on is the back, the bottom, and the front, right? You use the side on the bottom, and then on the top, we just fill your edges with the glue as well, and then you take your other side profile and then you rock it on the back piece first and you clip it over to the front side there. Now you might hear a crunch, maybe even in this video, but you'll hear a crunch when you do it on your own, and that will allow you to get a nice tight fit. Okay, so this front fit, that's the way you want all of your joints to look when you've finished the box itself. This one here, we've done 2 takes on this here, so it's got a little bit of a gap from the crack on the wood from doing it there. But you can see on the bottom that they fit perfectly fine here. Now, if you really want to, you can use clamps like these ones here on the wall to clamp it together, or you can just grab it with 2 hands, put down the actual glue itself will provide and act like a bit of a vacuum. Now, if you rock it back and forth and manhandle it a lot, it'll just fall apart again on you. So be careful and take your time. Usually we put a clip on each one of these panels so that it holds it together as you're putting the rest of them on. So he'll put 1 or 2 on the back here, then we'll move over to a side, and we'll go to the other side so that it doesn't fall apart as we're going ahead on this project. So as you can see, these holes that we have here should be lined up perfectly and should be good to go, but sometimes we run out of the style clips you're seeing right now, and we'll give you ones that are silver or black or brown. So it just depends on what's available from stock at the time. If your holes don't line up, it's probably due to that. It doesn't really matter too much other than a help and as quick guidance, but you can just put the screw into a fresh piece of the wood on here. It'll hold just as tight, it'll be just as fine. Just make sure that it sinks all the way down and it is tight. On this one here, we have our setting on our drill to 5. If you are going to be drilling a hole blind without the pilot on it, then you will probably be using at least number 7 on your drill there to kind of bury it in there. You might have to go in and then come back out and then go back in again to snug it up. Now you can see he's being gentle with it, and it's all good. It's snugging up together. As this is going together, it's just getting tighter and tighter and holding it in. The clips, as much as they are for structural integrity on these, they are actually more just to hold it together and keep it square and all that fun stuff while the glue dries. The glue does all the work, but basically this will add strength over time. If any of these clips are in your way, you'll see in our second part of this that they may get in the way for some of your stuff. You can take them out. It won't ruin the integrity of your box here. So the rest of this we're going to do up. We'll speed up and go through this whole dealio so you can see it in kind of real time. And yeah, you'll see how fast it is to put one of these together and get a professional look. Okay, so this is the finished product. I just wanted to do a quick inside flyby so you can kind of see what's going on here. Looks like a lot of clips. They're exactly where they need to be to give all the strength they need. They're pretty shallow and flat, so they shouldn't get in your way when you're building any of your internals. For some reason, if you need to remove one of them later on down the road, like I said, it's not gonna get rid of a lot of the integrity and stuff for the strength of the cabinet in these corners after this glue is dried. And look, you got a half a container of glue left, so you can fix the kitchen chair if you need to. Okay, so now you can see that we've got our console top. We have it flipped upside down. We're going to put our Euro hinges in that are included with the kit. There's also a bunch of screws that come with it as well. Right now he's just dropping the screws in. There's no pilot holes for these. Just make sure that they're you know, in the same kind of square as the edge of the control top itself. You know, you don't want them all cockeyed and awkward, because then it'll just be a weird forced closed later on. You'll also see after he puts them in, there's a little screw for adjustment on the actual Euro hinge itself. What that does is extends it out or brings it in. It's for small adjustments, or to allow for small adjustments. What we're going to do before we actually install it is send it out to its highest point, or out to its furthest point. You might be able to see it move there. Yeah, so he's actually bringing it in a little bit. So what happens is now we can lift it up. So I said it the opposite, but he's bringing it in, and then when we put it on, then we can adjust it upwards so that when it bends down or it closes, the edges don't, they may or may not meet each other right out of the gate. So then what you want to do is move them and adjust them a little bit so it'll go up and down to make the edges free and clear from each other when you try to close it. As you just saw, he measured from one side to the other. You want to get it, you know, obviously centered. You can be as picky about that as possible. This box here is a demo. It's from pieces of wood that have been all scratched up and trashed and stuff, so he's going to probably just get close to eyeballing it. As you can see, there's no pilots for this either. It's just leaning on itself. That's why we brought that Euro hinge adjustment down, so that it's crimped up as far as it can go, kind of thing, so that when we're done we can lift it up 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch, and then now we can close it. So normally what I do is do like 2, like he's just done, then we can adjust it and test it before we put in any other screws, just in case. If something goes wrong and this part doesn't work, you don't want to have holes all over the place in this thing and then readjust it and do whatever. So this way, when you've done it, then you've basically set yourself up to have 2 holes of being wrong, I guess, in the end, if that's the actual case. So he's using the drill to adjust it. I would strongly suggest using a hand screwdriver. It's just easier for the demo purposes. But now it can it's loose and it can close. So now he's just going to drill the other 2 screws in, one on each, and then we're going to be tight and ready to rock. These also come with some clips to the front for it to clip down and hold down. So we're going to do the video on how to do those ones too and give you a tip and trick on how that works out as well. So, but now you can see it just moves nice and smooth, just like it should. All right, so you can see here how it's just a little bit above the actual cabinet itself. You can go a little lower than this if you'd like. We find that for adjustments and stuff like that, you want to be a little bit higher. You can go a little lower so you get a really tight fit to it. This just adds for a little bit of extra airflow and allows us to adjust the console top a little bit more and have a little bit more play for it. You can see how small these screws are. And you can see adding the other one in there as well. All right. So now we're going to move on to trick number 2, adding these clips on the top. You can see here that they're 2 pieces. So this here is the actual clip piece that gets put onto the top here. When the door closes or the top closes, it clamps back down into here. So what you want to do is leave that there and then use a little bit of the leftover wood glue that we have. And you need to put a little dab on top of the holes themselves, okay? Just a little dab. So we'll do that on 2 first. Put it down. Lift it up, and it's going to give you 2 dabs right there like that. So what you want to do is make 2 little marks, and maybe if you can, either a little hole, a pinhole, whatever you want, so that you break through the melamine, so that when you put your 2 screws in there, it'll fit nice and easy. So you did the other side. Boom, good to go. So now you can see them. It'll line up perfectly when you do it. So you can wipe the glue off of these before you screw them in, and then you can, just wipe. The glue will just come off afterwards from the other stuff. And if not, then you bury the glue inside the hole where you put your screw. So all in all, it'll help you go. All right, so as you can see, this can be a little tricky because the screws are so small. So this will probably be the most frustrating part of the build. Any of the bits that we use on the CNC aren't small enough to put a pilot hole for this, so we don't add it in there because it's not repairable after you put it in. So for some reason, if you decide not to use it, then you have permanent holes that you can't repair. This is the reason why we don't put that on there, and we don't get too many complaints or requests to make sure that that happens. So if you can, bear with it. You'll see that it's obviously not the easiest thing. But basically in the end, it's as much pressure as you can. And then obviously you don't want to strip these, so you don't want to hammer through. So keep your drill at a lower setting. And that one went in real nice. Wipe off the glue. And bump it on, bump, bump. And there you go. Bob's your uncle. Hear that nice click sound? I'm going to show you the front here where there's that gap so I can see if I can see through there. See there? There's a small little gap in there. That's what I was talking about. Now it's barely seen. If you do some LEDs and all that stuff, you might get a little bit of light that shines through there. So you can either use like a foam tape or something in between there, or you can recede those clips 1/8 of an inch or so lower so that you don't get that gap. A quick little thing now that this is all done, you can kind of see the whole thing in its glory, I guess. You can also see here, so if you were to order a trackball or have a trackball, say whatever, we do them for Ultimark only. The Suzo Hap ones are top mounted, so you have to put a decal over it in a really weird way and do all that stuff. If it's special requests and you have a Suzo Hap one, we will cut it out for you at special request, but it does come with a extra layer of PIA factor, I guess you could say, but it is what it is. So what else I want to show you here, some of the other little options / perks that you get with it automatically is the joystick setup here. Okay, so we do recess the joystick hole a little bit, and we also put these nylon dowel grommet type dealios in here that allow for your screws to grip in there a lot better. And then they're also removable if you ever had to fix the joystick, tighten it, that type of a thing, so that it doesn't wiggle out, and or usually with wood and stuff, if you remove the screw at any given time, it loosens that hole up quite a bit. So then it just gets worse and worse over time, and then it just doesn't hold anymore. This gives us way better grip. So I'm gonna show you the Suzo Hap joystick. This is just a competition joystick. It's comparable and pretty much identical to the IL joystick, except for a few little options in the joystick itself, which we're not going to get into. You can watch our joystick video on that. But basically, I wanted to show you the versatility of the hole pattern for these joysticks. So right here, it just fits right in. You can see that you can use any of the joystick hole patterns in here. They all line up in there nicely. It works with a number of different joysticks with this hole pattern, right? So these ones have holes for all of them, but sometimes, say if you go Zippy, Sanwa, Sumitsu, that type of a thing, these hole patterns will work for all of those. All right, so they'll work for IL, Zippy, Sumitsu, Sanwa, JLF, any of the no-name stuff, LED joysticks, you name it. So this comes on every console when you order it exactly how you see it. Also, I wanted to go over real quick. You might have noticed that there's a channel all the way around this cut out when you get it. We pre-cut your T-mold channel for you, so you have a T-mold slot. So when you buy the T-mold from us or anybody else, whatever you want to do, it has already been cut and ready to rock. So it should be centered and done professionally, so you should have a nice professional finish when you're done. Booyah! All right, so this is the end all be all. That's what it looks like. Pretty straightforward. We have videos on how to decal and then how to T-mold and do all that fun stuff. When we go a little bit further with this one, we'll do a whole full video on how to do all that so that we're all good to go. Thanks for watching.